Good morning, brand DIYers. It is Mark here, and it's kind of a gray and gross day here in Victoria, BC, but we are moving rapidly into the season of Christmas, and I love doing shows on what the marketing is looking like for a particular Christmas. And I gotta say, there probably isn't a better Christmas season to do this about than the Christmas season of 2020. And I'm not kidding. I think that brands and creativity thrive in moments of adversity. And as far as adversity goes, I don't think that we've had anything worse, probably ever, since the Second World War, probably. So it is a very, very interesting time for all of us who are building brands and especially building brands for ourselves. However, I want to take today's live stream to highlight a few pieces that have caught my eye and talk to you just a little bit about the way we might be thinking about this particular holiday season if we want to get out there and build our brand during the holiday season. Because as always, as I just mentioned, there are opportunities out there, and creativity thrives in adversity. So let's talk a little bit about what we can do. 2020 was an extremely challenging year. 63 billion, that's B billion, of dollars of spending was disappeared, was wiped out from global advertising in 2020. That is a massive number. That means that all the brands that were out there communicating stopped communicating or cut back communication, not just because the companies themselves were hurting, which a lot of them were, but also because we just didn't know what to say. In the summer of 2020, there seemed to be a movement towards companies behaving like nothing was really going wrong. And I think that had a lot to do with all of us being able to be outside during the summer, and we could go to the outdoor restaurants, we could hang out in parks, we couldn't get close to each other, but we could pretend and squint really hard and think that maybe we were past the worst of it. And then, of course, the colder weather happened and cases globally started to spike again. And I think what's happened now, we're back in the state. Well, we're not back in the state, it's a whole new state. But we were kind of in the state of, oh my gosh, what's going on, which was March of 2020. And we're also in another sort of a knockdown state, which is, will this ever end? And so I think a lot of people are scared. And equally, I think a lot of people are very, very tired of what's happening. So it's kind of a double whammy right now. Now, let's take a look at some of the brands and what they're saying in this crazy time. Yeah, Walmart, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Walmart ad with a little teddy bear that stands up and says it's time for us to step up and help a whole bunch of people out there. Walmart also has a neat little saying in that commercial. Let's deck the halls over video calls. Never heard that one before. Heineken uses the power of the hashtag in its Christmas advertising to hashtag socialize responsibly. Responsible drinking is always a big priority, but I think now that's taken on a whole new meaning. It doesn't just mean make sure you get home safe after you've had too many Heinekens, but make sure you don't have Heinekens too close to anybody else. The U.S. Post Office, this adds an interesting new twist to the whole thing. As many of you probably recall, the U.S. Post Office took a real beating in the United States. They brought in somebody who was basically cutting the guts out of the post office, and then they had the president, or the now soon-to-be former president, trash talking the post office about how they couldn't be relied on. And I thought it was really interesting to see a commercial for the post office going through absolutely crazy bad weather to make sure that the mail gets there on time. And that was very, very interesting because, I mean, through rain or hail nor sleet nor snow, nothing will stop the Postal Service that's as old as the Postal Service, but I think it really brings up a new significance with COVID, staying at home, ordering our stuff in, but also the political situation and what the post office had to endure this past year. Another fairly new but prototypical image of COVID. The Texas supermarket HEB has a wonderful commercial where a little girl is reaching up to connect with her grandma through a glass door. It's kind of heartbreaking in a sweet way. I can't imagine what we're going to think in a couple of years when we take a look back at the crop of advertising that we produced in 2020 for Christmas. We'll go, wow, remember that? Or we'll go, oh my God, can you remember that? That was so horrible. But it's certainly a twist on reality, isn't it? There's a wonderful commercial out for Xfinity, and it starts with Santa in a video conference with the elves. And I thought that was particularly funny and particularly relevant to this year. It isn't just that there's technology because it's Xfinity, but also Santa is socially distant from the elves. He's video conferencing with them as opposed to sitting in the workshop with them. And the gist of the commercial is that the normal gifts are just not going to cut it. You've got brands like Amazon and Kohl's and Microsoft out there with their holiday fair, and they're getting kind of bleak on us. The whole idea of things like canceled dance recitals and notes taped to windows or doors by neighbors who are just looking for a little human warmth. Again, very, very relevant, tugging your heartstrings, very depressing as well for the season. And my particular favorite, oh, and by the way, if you're hearing me, John, here about all these great commercials that have come out, make sure you look at the show notes, because a lot of these commercials, I'm going to have links to them in the show notes so you can check them out yourself. The final one I want to talk about is Marks and Spencer. And if you, like I, have been following The Crown, you know Olivia Colman, who plays the Queen in the new season. And she has got, there's a commercial that uses her as a voiceover. And she says that it has been a horrible year. Remember when Princess Diana died, when she coined that phrase, an annus horribilis, it has been a terrible year. Well, she brings that phrase up again. It's been a terrible year, but shouldn't we try to make it a bit brighter? And it's a commercial for, of course, the choice of the royals, gin from Marks and Spencer. So have yourself a gin and tonic and try to put a brighter spin on the year. So that is kind of somewhat heartwarming, somewhat depressing state of reality as far as marketing and advertising goes for this season. I think the theme of it is that brands are drawing up alongside people and saying, we get it, we get where you're at, we know this is terrible, and we empathize. However, where I'm seeing innovation happen, including, I want to talk about one particular case here in a minute, but where I'm a local case, but where I'm seeing innovation happen is in product development. Now, there's if any of you have ever stayed at Hilton Hotels, you know that you go in, I think it's Hilton Doubletree, you go in and they have a bunch of cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and they're famous. So you go into any of these Doubletree hotels, you grab a chocolate chip cookie, they're really good. Well, we're not going to hotels this year. However, Hilton Hotels has turned it into a gift. So you can go and order a gift box of cookie mix and learn to make those cookies just like you enjoyed at the Hilton Hotels. I thought that was kind of neat. Another company, speaking of stuff they ship to you, another company is called Cratejoy, C-R-A-T-E, Joy. And what they do, they let you order gift boxes that are themed by country. So if you want to go travel to, say, Germany for the Christmas market, you're not going to do that this year. However, you can order a crate from Germany or themed German and open it up and you get a whole bunch of German stuff inside there. And they've got this from a whole bunch of different countries. I thought it was a really good idea. There's another company doing this, Disney. There are no slouches, no dust on Disney. Disney have shared their cookie stamps, their Mickey Mouse cookie stamps, and their cookie recipe, so that now you can bite the mouse every time that you think of going to Disney World or Disneyland for Christmas with your family. Well, at least you can have some, you can eat Mickey. And now the one that really made me smile, if you're from a colder climate, as I am, you have Christmas carolers, you have folks standing outside ringing the bells for the Salvation Army, and you used to give them Christmas cookies. You used to give them mulled wine, mulled cider for people who are, their noses are bright red in the cold and they're singing you Christmas carols. Well, now what you can do, you can actually buy, well, not actually, I mean, it's not anything new that you can buy individual sizes, but it's a big push this year that you don't buy cookie mix, cookie dough, but you buy individually wrapped cookies to pass out to the carolers and the newspaper kids and all the folks you see in the street. Plus, you can get individual servings of mulled wine and mulled cider. So that's kind of my summary of what I'm seeing happening so far this Christmas season. I'll do another couple shows like this as the season progresses, because I'm sure there's going to be some great stuff coming out as far as brands go and innovation goes. But I wanted to finish this story with a very, very funny story. My friend Joe Girard, who I probably mention way too often on this show, but I'm a big fan of Joe's, and he helped a company just a short while ago. What they wanted to do, they saw that kids could no longer go to shopping malls to sit on Santa's knee. So this group wanted to make it so that you could send Santa a request and some money, and Santa would video record a special greeting just for your kids. So they gave this to Joe to market and to sell, and it went through the roof. So there is a wonderful idea. If you're building a brand, this entire brand started from somebody looking around going, what's missing? And what they saw missing was kids being able to go sit on Santa's knee. Just like the staycation crates from Cratejoy saw that people couldn't travel. Disney saw people couldn't go to Disneyland. And they accommodated and they came up with stuff that could give them, if not exactly the same thing, but give them a good replica of what they were missing out on. And I just thought it was particularly interesting that this project that Joe worked on absolutely went nuclear. That people from all over were ordering these short videos from Santa for their kids. And, Joe and I were talking about this. It was pretty funny because the first thing that popped into my mind is, why just kids? Why can't you do Santas for all types of target audiences? And I think that's something that Joe is going to work on, who knows, maybe for next year. Or the company that he was helping are going to work on maybe for next year. But at any rate, there is endless opportunity if you have your mind set on what problems do I see and how can I solve those problems. So I'm going to invite you, I'm going to challenge you, brand DIYers. If you're feeling kind of blue about Christmas 2020, you're not the only ones. However, you are entrepreneurs and you have got a very unique brain screwed onto your shoulders. So take a look around. What are people missing out on? And is there anything that your company can build or market to answer that need in this very, very unique time? Think about it. And if you have any suggestions or questions, please make sure to drop them into the show notes and let everybody else know. Who knows? You might find somebody out there who can actually help you build it. Talk to you soon. And don't forget, tomorrow we have an expert on our show from 10 to 10:30 Pacific. Talk to you soon.